Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Let me tell you something. Taiwan has changed a little bit. They are embracing alcohol more in the business world since the last time I was out here, as you can tell by my voice. Good morning, humans. How are you? It's probably morning where you're at. If you're in the U.S., to everybody else out there, let me say, hope you have a great day. This is inauguration day here in the U.S. We're going to have a new president sworn in, right? It's the end of wokeness as we know it. And talking about wokeness, that is today's subject. Assassin's Creed, new and improved. Now only with 1/9 BLM. Jesus. What a disaster. What an enjoyable disaster. Guys, this has been so bad that it's actually good. If I told you that they're going to release a Japanese themed game on no other date than the commemoration of date of the worst terrorist attack that there has ever been in Japan, you would think I'm making it up. No, but this is 2025, right? This is 2025 Ubisoft. It's the worst disaster, PR disaster that I can remember in recent history. It's just terrible, right? It really is just terrible. And I'll go into the details, guys. But let me say a few things here. First is a lot of people blame the individuals. And I think they're mistaken in that. These individuals were hired by people who fully well knew what these people were all about. Right? They know they are hiring people from these communist Marxist dens out there that are just driven by their ideological points of view. And that is what rules their world. Their politics are above all other things in their life. And that's the way they act. That's the way they work. That's the way they do everything. They see themselves as a platform to educate the masses, to those uneducated few like myself who believe in, freedom, justice, and the American way. They're going to tell us exactly how the cookie crumbles through socialism, Marxism, some of the worst ideas that the human mind has ever produced. And that is based on the numbers of deaths. Whatever you want to say about capitalism and imperialism and whatever the hell else you want to say that the U.S. is, it doesn't hold a candle to the number of deaths that have come by these other systems. However, this is really a criticism on these companies that have chosen the easy way out, right? And this is a story that I'm going to tell you. It's a story about power. Story about money. All these other things are in the periphery, right? That's what's there to keep you entertained. What I like to do is follow the money. Who has the more to gain by this disaster that is so ridiculous? And it really is. Who has the most to gain? Is it the people that want to take the company private? Is it Tencent? Who's going to make the most amount of money here? Is it people buying on the low? Right? When the stock market is not fluctuating enough, when the lows don't go as low as you want them so you can buy, and when the highs are not high enough so you can sell, sometimes powerful players make waves. And it is my belief that in the video game industry, this is exactly what's going on. Because let me tell you why. If you wanted to make a good video game with $200 million, with $100 million, you can do it. You can do it, and you can do it with less people. It has been proven over and over again. Why is it then that the studios that have less people and less funding make better games? Because they don't have all these other issues on the periphery, right? The easy way out is to create characters that you just race swap. Right? This story could have been told. Let's say that for argument's sake, that you really wanted to have a black character there to honor George Floyd's name, which was really what is being said behind the scenes, that this is what this was all about. What if you just wrote a better story? Right? What if you wrote a story about somebody going back in time, and I don't know, they possess Yusuke, however you pronounce it, you possessed his body in order to turn him into a warrior, right? So you're basically changing history. There's a lot of things that you could have done. But they didn't present their story well. The narrative here is that the Western media overblew, right? They exaggerated. When I say the Western media, they're only talking about media influencers, guys. They're not really talking about the press anymore. they're not a factor here, right? It only really matters what happens on social media. But what's being sold over here is that the story was exaggerated and what have you. As you can clearly tell by these posters, you went from 50% black to 1/9% black story-wise, because the poster gives you a glimpse of the story. And the first story that was going to be that this is about two warriors. One of them was black, the other one was Asian. Now, it's a broader story, right? Now, the black samurai is not as prominent. And you can make a great black samurai game, guys. I loved Afro Samurai. That was a great game. But this is just lazy writing, right? It's how do we do it the easiest way possible? Let's just swap the guys, genders. Let's swap the guys' races or women's races. Let's make them non-binary. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's the laziest of the lazy. And that is what these new professionals that are being cultivated in these universities, which are just echo chambers for socialism, are producing. There's very few talents out there. You can make a great game, and you can spend $100, $200 million if you hire the right people. But my contention to you is that they knew exactly what they were doing. This product didn't end like this by mistake. They knew that they wanted to produce this product the way it's being produced. And now that it's blowing up, they're trying to sort of fix it. But to me, in the background, there's always the money, right? That's really what drives everything. Let me ask you, who is to gain by this disaster? If Ubisoft tanks, right, who is to gain? Let me tell you something. In the stock markets, you need fluctuation, right? You need volatility. That is the mother's milk of making money on the stock market. You need things to go high so you can sell, and you need things low so you can buy. That's how you make money. It's pretty simple, actually. But sometimes the market doesn't fluctuate the way you want it to. It's not at the right time. So what do? You make your own waves. How can you do that? Well, you can tank a company, right? You can wait for a company. You can give it bad press, right? You can do all kinds of things. So I am really curious to see who's going to gain the most amount of money out of this deal. Just sit back and watch, guys. Look at the numbers. The other reason for the whole debacle here is also the struggle for power. Who has the power? Is it the legacy media? Because if they can save this property, let me tell you, if this property sells, it's all going to be because of legacy media. It's not the YouTubers out there. It's not the social media influencers that are talking up this game. No. It's going to be legacy media. So if they're able to save this game, it'll have something to say whether or not they still have a say in the market, right? But if not, if the YouTubers who are clearly taking a stand against this game, which again is something to behold, right? I never as a gamer back in the day said, I want this game to fail. Right? We would pay, even back in the day, for those of you who don't know, we're a little younger, even in the 90s, we were paying $70 for games, right? A figure that's making people cry now. We were paying $70 back then, which is like, what, $150 now? Probably, who knows? And we wanted the games to be good. Imagine paying that much and it sucked. But here you have gamers, so-called gamers. I wouldn't classify them as that if you want games to fail. I would want games to improve. I mean, if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed, you want them to fix the game. Whatever you think is wrong with it. But I wouldn't say, I want this game to crap out. So there's so many dynamics here, guys, that I really want to see this launch. I want to see what's going to happen. Will I give them my money? No. No. Not with Ubisoft's track record. And this has to do more with their quality. I'm not going to pay premium price, right, Make a mistake a lot of like a lot of people did with Star Wars. Very few people like that game. I think the evidence, the overwhelming evidence of that game being buggy is out there. So they took more time with this game so it wouldn't be as buggy, I guess. Hopefully it's not, because if it is, after all these delays, it really is going to be more of a PR nightmare. And that's the other lesson that these companies are going to learn. You can't be this bad at PR. They spent all the money on game development, probably, and they had no budget left for marketing, because this is the worst marketing by far. I mean, this is like amateur level mistakes that these people are making. Imagine releasing a game that supposedly you're on your country, but you release it on a day that commemorates their worst terrorist attack. I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's not. I mean, this whole setup, right? If I would have told you this story back in the 90s, you would have thought I was telling you a comedy skit. This is how ridiculous this is. But this is reality in 2025. At the end of the day, guys, this is a story about money and power. Look out for those. Everything else is just noise. Somebody's going to make a whole hell of a lot of money out of this debacle. And it's not necessarily because the game is going to sell a lot. Let's see what happens to Ubisoft, and let's see who is pulling the strings behind the scenes. All right, humans, thank you for joining me. That's the video for today. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can always be attuned of whatever I'm doing in whatever country I'm in. Oh my God, my head hurts. Guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.